Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again. I am here today to obviously review another Beavis and Butthead episode. This is season 9, aka the reboot season. It's really weird because I figured out what was wrong. On IMDb, there are 2 listings for this show. This show is listed on the original series, so they have season 9 all the way at the end, and then they don't really keep up with the episode listings very well. You know, you have to enter all that stuff manually. A robot doesn't do it for you. You know, you gotta put all that stuff in, and they have to verify it and everything. It takes quite a bit of time. But then there's also a second listing where it's just the reboot all by itself. So that's why I've been a little confused. And it still is a little confusing. You know, I think they said something about this season being 12 episodes. And so I'm still unsure, though. I was just trying to figure out how many episodes total is this season going to be. Just curiosity-wise, like, you know, how they do that thing nowadays where you have a show and it starts and then it ends the next day. And I was hoping, like, oh, maybe it won't be like that for Beavis and Butthead. And 12 episodes is way better than 6, like, fucking Dark Winds. So, anyways, this episode was pretty good. It was so much better than the past couple of weeks. I immediately looked forward to it as soon as I found out what both episodes were about. You know, this season has been very Beavis-centric. And this was a very Butthead-centric episode. Well, it was kind of mixed because you really got the full picture. You know, for the past couple of episodes, I've been wondering, are they trying to run with the narrative where Beavis is good, but he's dragged down by Butthead, and, you know, Butthead's abusive, and Beavis is like a victim or something? Like, are they trying to do that typical movie friendship thing where you have the bad friend, and then you have the good friend, and you know what I mean? Like with, what would be a good example of that? I don't know. I mean, they kind of did it a little bit in Superbad, but it obviously, that wasn't really, I mean, they were obviously really best friends, and, you know, there wasn't any bad friend in that relationship. But the first story in this episode was Nice Butthead. And it's all about Butthead being given pills to make himself behave better. And surprisingly, the pills work very well. And Butthead starts acting like a square, to say the least. And it was sort of like a Twilight Zone episode. Like, it was hilarious. It was a lot like last week with the doppelganger thing. It was very much like a weird thing where, like, I never ever expected to see that. Never expected to see Butthead acting like just a boring person who's gonna live a boring life with boring people surrounding him. You know, he's so much better when he's just himself. And so it was kind of disturbing. But it was really hilarious. You know, Beavis, he just was very upset. And so this was what I sort of liked, was that instead of the story being about Butthead being bad necessarily, the story, as it turns out, is actually more of a balanced thing where Beavis wants the abuse from Butthead. Like, Beavis really, he lives off of Butthead's abuse. He lives off of him screwing around with him and calling him names. And so I actually really like that, because it felt so much more like that fits with Beavis and Butthead. You know, the whole narrative with, like, Beavis is really just the victim and Butthead's this abuser. Like, I prefer this narrative where it's more balanced And so it was a weird thing. It was almost like a romance episode where the one partner moves away and finds someone else, and the other partner chases after them. Like, it was very, very weird. And so the whole episode, it was very funny, the whole episode, but it had a weird feeling like this could have been the finale of the series, in my opinion. If they had just had a little bit more with each story to make it more of like a grand finale, it really could have been the finale, to just explain like their relationship as a whole. It really is about both of them thriving off of each other and not just one taking advantage of the other. And that, I know that's like not what you expected from a Beavis and Butthead review, this like analysis, a serious analysis, but I just can't help it. And they did talk about one commercial. Which one was that? I can't even remember what video they made fun of in the first one. Did they? I can't remember. I think they made fun of two. Okay. Was it the... Okay, I'll just talk about all the commercials now so I don't have to wonder, like, where the... Because I think there were 3 in the whole episode. So the first one, there was this really funny one where it was all about farm animals and this woman just showing videos of her farm pets. And it was pretty hilarious. You know, it was... a lot of it, they just made fun of Charlotte's Web. And they talked about how torturous her voice was, and that one was pretty funny. But I swear, every single commercial now, I am going to just sit there like shaking my head and sort of thinking about, I told you so, because I swear every single commercial, every single video now, they are hardcore distracting you from the actual video. So that video was pretty good. You know, there were a lot of little laughs. The farm animal one, I liked that one. And then the next one was this music video. And this one was the one where I had issues with for the most part, because it opens up and it's like, oh shit, this is going to be really funny. They're going to tell some really good jokes. And then instead of being about the music video, it ends up being about the real life. It ends up being about Butthead and Beavis as like grown adults in this other alternate universe. And they're like these messed up adult versions of themselves that we saw for a glimpse in the movie. And Butthead talks about having a heart attack, and I thought that part was pretty funny, but it was kind of dark. Like, the whole episode had this dark and somber tone underneath the comedy. It really felt like the ending of Beavis and Butthead to me, in a weird way. And then after that, Beavis started talking about like being an alcoholic but with beer. And I didn't think that was very funny. I mean, it's not that I thought that it was bad jokes, but I didn't find it funny personally. And the whole time though, I thought, man, they are hardcore distracting from this video. Like, they are trying so hard to not write jokes about the actual video. Like, it reminds me, I don't know if I told you guys already about this commentary channel, but one of the reasons I started doing movie commentaries happened because of watching a YouTube channel where these guys actually commentate over full movies all the time. And I don't want to say their name because I actually like them for the most part. But sometimes in their bad commentaries, they have a lot of trouble staying on task. And they have a lot of trouble talking about the actual movie. And they just start talking about like random shit that I don't care about, like wrestling, sports, politics, real life, work stuff. Like none of that stuff matters when you're doing a movie commentary unless it's like really, really relevant to the plot. And it really irritates me. And so they're doing the same thing in this episode, in this commercial, but they were sort of trying to do it in order to tell backstory. It was like forced exposition where, oh, that one bump there, it reminded me of Butthead when they when they used the defibrillator on you. You know, that's what it reminded me of. And then after that, I'm an alcoholic, but with beer. I really like drinking alcohol. Like, this is just very, very much playing it safe. And then they had a last commercial. Well, I mean, commercial is not really, they're just YouTube videos, but I'm saying commercial because they act as sort of commercial breaks in between the episode story. The last one was this woman on YouTube doing tarot readings live. And and I was so much looking forward to this one because I knew that classic Beavis and Butthead would definitely rip her a new one, if you know what I mean. And they started off with probably the funniest joke of the whole episode. And Butthead's like, Beavis, how long would you listen to this bitch's annoying voice if you knew you were going to score? Like, how long would you listen to it before you just gave up? And Beavis is like, I think like 5 years. And I just thought that was so funny. Like, she was so annoying the way that, like, her voice was pretty annoying, and so that was a great joke, and I was like, oh my god, are they gonna, and that was my live reaction to what happened, because then right after that, instead of talking about the video, well, they sort of do, but they're like, oh, I could tell the future is better than she can, and Butthead starts just saying all this obvious stuff, and it just wasn't funny at all. And I was like, oh, god damn. Like, you missed another opportunity to make fun of someone. Like, that was so sad, that part, where I thought, man, they started off with a boom. They started off with a fire joke, and then immediately after that, and so, that irritated me for sure. It's too bad the rest of the reaction wasn't about directly commenting on the video. In fact, you have to wonder this too. You know, with TV shows, obviously you can do whatever you want with that in terms of reactions because it's fair use. With music videos, I think it's the same thing. But you have to wonder, since these are YouTube videos made by independent creators, you have to wonder, maybe the reason isn't because they're playing it safe and they've gone really watered down. Maybe the real reason is because the creators, the only way that they could be allowed to use their videos would be if they didn't make fun of them that much. Like, maybe they signed these really dumb contracts where they said, like, you are only allowed to make one joke about this video. You are only allowed, and then you have to talk about anything but the video. Because I swear it's a serious problem now with this show. Like, the fact that they just sit there and they're like, okay, we made one joke about the video. Now we're going to talk about everything else but the video. So the first, so that's done with the commercials. I was disappointed with that, but still, they were pretty funny, I guess, somewhat. So the first episode, the first story with Nice Butthead, I give that an A plus without the commercials. With the commercials, I give it an A minus. The second story was Home Aide, and that one is all about the alternate universe adult Beavis and Butthead, and they really need more money for beer, and they've already spent up all their unemployment money. So Beavis has to go, and I loved how Butthead was treating Beavis in this episode, because now, after having seen that first part, it almost feels like not even abusive or anything. It just feels like that's what's meant to be. Like these people need each other. They really fit each other well. And so it was really cool how the first episode complemented the second one. And they sort of worked really well together as a pairing. So this was the perfect episode pairing. I would say that this is the second best one, or the best episode so far of the season, regardless of the issues. Beavis goes to the unemployment center to try to get more money, and instead of that, he says you have to be a home aide for someone. And then, as I expected, he's Butthead's home aide. And that was just so hilarious. I kind of wish they did a little bit more. It felt another episode where they could have probably done another 5 minutes if they wanted to. You know, it's another story where I felt like you could have easily done this for King of the Hill with Bobby. You could have had it to where he's grown up, and then maybe his first job is being a home aide. Well, I know he already did the racetrack thing, the job in that one episode, but you know what I mean. First job as an adult, and he could have maybe actually become Butthead's home aide in King of the Hill. And so it was another story where I felt like it would have definitely fit King of the Hill much better. In fact, that just made me completely remember, guys, they already did that pill episode before on King of the Hill. Remember that episode where Bobby, he like purposefully does badly on a test, or he screws up really badly, and then this dipshit psychiatrist starts giving him pills for ADD, I think, and it like slows down time, and it makes it to where like Bobby is just like a drooling zombie, and he, oh wait, it was because they thought that he was ADD because of he was eating like too many bowls of Cookie Crisps, but that's what that. Oh my god, oh my god. You guys see why this show reminds me so much of King of the Hill? Like, do you see why? Because they're literally lifting stories from King of the Hill. God. Okay, I was going to give this whole episode an A-, but not anymore. That takes it down an entire letter grade. I give this episode a B-. And of course, the conclusion of Homemade is really good, where Butthead, Beavis, he wants to get Count Chocula and beer, and Butthead gets really mad and he starts running over Beavis, and I thought that was hilarious. Like, it was almost like a Looney Tunes thing where he's flattening Beavis, and then Beavis is now collecting money for getting hurt on the job. So I thought that was great. So I would give the second story an A+. But that's without the commercials. With the commercials, I give it a B+. So altogether, I'm giving this episode a B-, just for lifting that first story from King of the Hill. But it did have the opposite effect, so you could say, it is different enough. It's just very strange the way that this show, it feels so much more like King of the Hill than Beavis and Butthead. And I think that that's definitely an issue. So anyways, please like this video, comment, tell me what you thought of the episode. Do you guys agree about this feeling like King of the Hill? And what do you think about this problem they have with not reacting to... You know what? Someone needs to react to those YouTube videos that they won't react to. Like, seriously. Like, I am tempted to react to every single video they've reacted to, and then make some real jokes about the videos, instead of like being like, oh yeah, that reminds me of the time where you had a heart attack. And then, oh yeah, I like to drink a lot of beer. Did you know I like to drink a lot of beer? Like, really, really pathetic with these distractions. And then please subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more honest reviews about Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, that's right. I'm not just going to sit there and react and be like, that was good. I mean, God, I am so glad I am not a reaction channel. Let's just say that. Reviewing is so much more entertaining and so much more, it's so much better than doing reactions where you have to see my face and you have to see it like, everyone's just going to say, trim your beard, Marco, trim your beard. And it's like, fuck off. I want to look like a Greek god, okay? So, goodbye, everybody. See you soon.